What up, everybody? Little did we know, a random Miami Heat Indiana Pacers game would have so much backlash behind it. I am yours truly. I'm the one and only. I'm FERRO. Want to thank you guys all for your time, your love, and support on this channel. Happy New Year, everybody. So, I don't even know where to start. Thank you for the love. If this is your first time checking out this iteration of the channel, please make sure you subscribe for more. Turn your notifications on so you're notified whenever I drop a video. As Jimmy Butler gets rejected, he's the man of the hour. Nembhard extends the Pacers lead to 10 already. We're just midway through the first here. So the story is all about Jimmy Butler, and I don't want to bury the lead here because I am going to hop on camera right after this video's done with this highlight, and we're going to discuss Jimmy Butler in a lot of lengthy conversations because this thing ain't working out in Miami. And I guess what I would like to do as we're watching this game highlight, Tyrese Halliburton looking, keeping and scoring. I guess what I would like to kind of discuss is how we got here. You know, the Miami Heat have been probably the third most successful team over the last 5-6 years. Let's not forget they make it to the NBA Finals in the pandemic, the bubble. They take on the Lakers. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna say, look, I'm a Lakers fan, so as Terry Rozier gets the beautiful layup to go. Look, I'm a Laker guy, so I mean, obviously I'm always rooting for my squad, but I remember watching that finals, and do I believe some of the calls in a neutral type of environment, right, which is what the bubble was. Do I believe some of the calls, oh, what an alley from Obi Toppin. Do I believe some of the calls in that finals favored LA if I had to say one side got the better end of the whistle? Yeah, I would say the Lakers got a couple better calls. Is the NBA more invested in LeBron winning his, at the time, 4th championship, right, versus the Miami Heat winning a title led by Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo? As Bam throws it down there right on time. I mean, I didn't feel like the Lakers were, cheated for, but I mean, I get it. Okay, so Miami makes the finals, an impressive run that included beating Giannis and the Bucks, right? Then we go to 2022 because I got married that year, and Miami's able to beat the Celtics in a classic 7-game series. Again, that's coming off of the backs of a couple of upsets. You get to the finals and you pretty much crash out against. Is that 22?
Got there in time for the jam.
In 22, Boston beats Miami in 7 games. Okay, yeah, right. And in 23, Miami gets to the finals and loses to Denver. Sorry about that timeline. I remember Miami and Boston in 22, but I remember now how that one ended. Yeah. So 23, you get to the finals and you fall to Denver. I mean, nothing wrong with losing finals to LeBron and Jokic, but again, in the last 5 years, I mean, the champions have been the likes of Tatum, Giannis, LeBron, Jokic, Steph. Those have been the leaders of those teams, right? The Heat have gotten to the finals. They're the 3rd most successful Eastern Conference team. They've been a top-tier organization over the last 5-6 years. It comes usually after some very bad regular seasons, like a game like this. The Heat are down 24 before Butler makes that 3. Tyrese Halliburton having a really great game. I'll read his stats in a second. But I mean, the Miami Heat have had struggle points through many regular seasons. Jimmy Butler's usage rate is declining. the Heat are going in a direction of more Tyler Hero, less Butler, less Bam even a little bit. And I just don't know what a Tyler Hero-led offense gets you. But I'm going to be fair to Miami because Butler said some things after this game. And in my opinion, there would be no conflict if Miami would have just paid Jimmy B over the past couple off seasons what he wants. I mean, you know, Jimmy's trying to act like his frustration starts with winning. But I would argue if he were happy financially, he would be happy in Miami and would bring a better winning culture to the table. This game you're watching right now, it is a blowout, but it's the NBA, y'all. Like, I mean, 21 points in a quarter is doable. Jimmy Butler does not play in the fourth quarter of this highlight. In this game, he didn't play. You're about to see the end of him in a second here. Now, if it's LeBron, if it's Steph, if it's KD, I get why in a 20-point game at this point in their careers don't play him. Butler's interesting with Miami. He misses a lot of games. So I look at it as, if you listen to a lot of NBA players, as Halliburton continues to cook Miami, a lot of NBA players say, yo, the hard part is getting up and getting prepared for the game. If I get prepared, I want to play. I want to play as much as I can. A guy like Butler, who has had his struggles with playing, missed the last few games of late, as a matter of fact. Or Reese's missed some games. Like, I need him out there. We can't afford to lose games. Miami can't afford to keep being a play-in team. Again, 24 points is a lot, but we've seen crazier things, especially for the home team. Your star players got to touch that fourth quarter, man. Again, he's 35, but so this is a bad sign for all the Heat Nation out there. And it's going to get worse after this game. I'm going to throw on a different hoodie. Wink, wink. And we're going to talk about this in greater detail because Miami's got a huge problem. I want to show some love real quick before we get up out of here. The Tyrese Halliburton, 33 points on 13 of 21 shooting. 15 assists. Pascal Siakam, 18 and 11. Miles Turner, 21 points. Toppin and Walker, 12 off the bench. This is one of Indiana's better games of the season. And let's finish with Jimmy Butler. 27 minutes, 9 points on just 3 for 6 shooting. That is not going to get it done. Miami loses a laugher. Listen, they lose 128-115. Shout out to some of the starters for getting back out there. But this game is not a 13-point game, how it ends up. Halliburton and the Pacers put it on this lethargic Heat squad. Jimmy Butler has let it be known to not only the Miami Heat privately, but he actually did it in a post-game presser following a Heat loss to the Pacers. He let the media in the world know that he would like to be traded by the Miami Heat. You know, Butler had been pretty private about his request to be traded. Pat Riley, the Heat's VP, actually came out a week or so ago and said Miami would not be trading Jimmy B. Now kind of all hands are on deck. Jimmy's kind of exhausting all his options here as a 35-year-old vet in the league. In the last year of about a $50 million deal, Jimmy wanted a new contract. Miami didn't want to give him a new deal until he showed them that he could play a requisite amount of games. Jimmy had a habit of starting regular season slow, and as we know, playoff Jimmy has arrived. But it's kind of like once every 2 years that we have a great Jimmy Butler performance in the playoffs. Miami goes on a run. But again, once every 2 years, Pat Riley's old school. I didn't even realize this. Pat Riley's 79, y'all. So his ideology to new contracts, the Miami Heat's approach to their team structure is a little different than most organizations. According to Shams Charania, Jimmy's so mad he would play for any team in the NBA not named Miami. Now, Shams is a phenomenal reporter. I don't want to get into questioning his reporting. I find that hard to believe, though. We've heard the short list of teams that Butler would be interested in playing for if granted a trade, and that list starts with the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors. I'll comment more on where I think Jimmy B will be a great fit in a second. But I want to read a quote from Jimmy Butler directly. This is not fabrication. He said this verbatim. He flat-foot said, I want to get back to having my joy playing basketball, wherever that may be, and we'll find out here pretty soon. I'm happy here in Miami off the court. Who wouldn't be happy in Miami? But I want to be back to somewhat dominant. I want to hoop, and I want to help this team win, and right now I'm not doing it. And then when asked straight up and down, does he believe he could do that with the Miami Heat at this point and fix the wrongs of a Heat squad that's definitely underachieved thus far this season? He said probably not. So Jimmy Butler wants to trade. Will he be granted that request from Miami? I don't know. Again, Pat Riley's old school. And I'm, listening to Pat, and obviously he's getting honored with statues, and deservedly so. He's a legend of this game. I don't know how many more years Pat's got going in this, man. He may want to call it quits at 79 or, maybe at 80, right? I don't know when his birthday is. But if this is his last shebang, it's going to be Pat's desire to leave Miami in the best position possible. Now, here's where things get tricky. What does Pat Riley believe is the best position possible for Miami? I'm looking at the Eastern Conference, and though the West looks wide open, to me, the East doesn't look as wide open. I think you know what you got in the Boston Celtics. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers have made an incredible stride. Giannis and the Bucks, they've been struggling over the last few days, but generally speaking, they've been a really good team. The New York Knicks are feisty and super good on offense right now. And then somewhere on down that totem pole, you find Miami. Now, Heat cultures, if we could just get into the dance, we could beat anybody. I don't know if that's the way to approach every year's postseason, though. Again, Butler usually slow balls into the regular season. To get that new contract, he's actually playing more than I'm used to seeing him in the regular season. So by the playoffs, my question is he going to be that Jimmy B that we've seen in the playoffs once every 2 years? He didn't have a great one last year. Would he be that Jimmy Butler this postseason? I don't know. And again, what does Pat Riley deem to be leaving the organization as best as possible? Does he look at that as just giving it one last dance with this Miami regime? Would he trade Butler, even though he said he's not going to trade him? Would he go back on his word? That's not Pat Riley like. And then when I take it a step further, the market for Butler. In the NBA, it gets really weird because though guys don't have no trade clauses, most guys don't, you could pretty much put a flare out in the atmosphere, right? Like you could say, yo, I want to go to these teams. If you trade for me, I ain't going to be happy. And again, Jimmy has a player option. Even that gets funny because how many teams would be willing to pay Jimmy Butler $50 million per year after this contract is up if he decides to opt out? If a team trades for Jimmy B, would they be getting him for a 1.5 year rental? Again, he has 1 year left on his deal after this season, but it's a player option. And you would think if at the age of 35, Jimmy's trying to get that biggest contract he could get, that last big deal, as quickly as possible before him, like everybody else, and Father Time has their way with his body, right? So there are a lot of factors in this one. The elephant in the room is, would Bradley Beal sign off on a trade to go to Miami? Now, Bradley is actually one of those few guys that does have a no trade clause. The Phoenix Suns, like Miami, are underachieving out West right now. West is wide open, though. Suns never really gave this thing a run here with this current new Big Three. They haven't had a chance yet, at least one full season. Phoenix may want to play this thing out, with Bradley Beal one more year, or I don't know. Phoenix, if I were Phoenix, I would want Jimmy Butler over Bradley Beal. What this comes down to is, and this is the scam of it all. Can you get Bradley Beal to say to hell with playing with Phoenix? Listen, the Miami Heat go trade for you. You can go live your life in Miami with your beautiful wife and your kids. That's it. You got to try to get Bradley Beal to say, man, I'm cool. Forget this winning thing. Forget going after it. Miami, if y'all want me, I'll waive my no trade clause. In my opinion, that pretty much says you're going to be one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference if you trade Jimmy Butler for Bradley Beal for the next 5 to 7 years. That's my opinion. But again, you would really need the Phoenix Suns to convince Bradley Beal on, yo, bro, you don't even want to play here. You don't even want to be in Arizona. You ain't an Arizona kid. You want to go live a beautiful life in Miami. You essentially need Bradley Beal to say, I don't even care about winning anymore. The Suns ain't winning anyway, right? And then to Miami, he would have to want Bradley Beal for Jimmy Butler, right? Like they may look at it as having Jimmy Butler for one last postseason run is better than trading for Bradley Beal and being irrelevant, which is what they would become immediately if they do a trade for Bradley Beal for Jimmy Butler. I don't care. And obviously the Suns ain't got no picks. They done traded every darn thing to get this new big three. So, I mean, it's pretty much a straight up and down trade. They don't have much of anything to offer outside of Beal. They ain't trading KD. They ain't trading Booker for Jimmy Butler. That don't make sense. Again, what does the Heat culture value? How do they see this played out? And do they look at if Jimmy B's going to start missing games after the Christmas break? He didn't come for the game. He stayed in Chicago as Miami played Orlando and almost lost. It took a Tyler Hero buzzer beater to beat Miami. Essentially, he just sat out the fourth quarter against the Pacers in a game that Miami was losing. Right? Like, do the Heat even think that they're getting a player that's going to be motivated to play for them? Is Jimmy going to force his way out? Here's where I land with all of this. This is my conclusion. I think Jimmy Butler and the Golden State Warriors make a lot of sense. I do. Let me know where you think Jimmy Butler will end up. I think when I look at the Warriors, something just feels off with the team. You know, they just don't feel like the right team. You know, if you're going to do this Draymond Green thing with his style of play and his ridiculousness oftentimes on the court, it really only makes sense to go after a championship to have Draymond around. I know that sounds cliche and every team would like to go after a championship with their vet guys. I hear you, but I'm serious. It really doesn't make sense to have a guy like Draymond on your team if he's not in championship mode. It just don't. With what he brings to the table, you know, you're trying to see what you got in Jonathan Kuminga. His contract is due up after the season. It don't really make sense to play Draymond any minutes that are valuable over Kuminga at this point. The future will land in Kuminga unless you go out and trade for Jimmy Butler. Immediately, the Warriors become a team that has a forward that could pretty much defend as good as anybody in the league at the forward level, at the 3 spot. You would prepare yourself quite well against teams like the Suns, right? Against the Lakers, you have Jimmy that could be able to do what he can on a LeBron. Against the Nuggets, Michael Porter Jr. or whomever, Jamal Murray, maybe even Butler could get that assignment, even though he didn't have a lot of success in the finals against Denver. You know, you got Jimmy Butler, and you put him next to Steph. You put him next to Dre, and you put him next to this young nucleus that they got, because I don't know what they would be able to keep in a trade with the Warriors. That, to me, feels like the Warriors going all in. A lot of times I don't feel like they've went all in the Steph Curry era. I think if Jimmy gets traded, I think there's a better chance he goes to Golden State over Phoenix. I just don't see a world where, number one, the Heat want Bradley Beal. Number two, Bradley Beal signs off on a no-trade clause and goes to Miami. I just don't see it. You will really hope that Bradley Beal loves Miami Heat weather. You will hope his wife says, bruh, we got a chance to get the MIA. Yo, let's get the hell up out of Arizona. That's what you're looking for. This is a mess. But I will be honest with you, as a fan of basketball, the NBA needs more messes like this. Like, these are the messes that, as a fan, we all love. Basketball-related drama. This is what the NBA has made their bread and butter off the last 10, 15 years. I don't know why they forgot who the hell they were and got this stupid-ass new CBA deal that makes it hard to do trades. Go look up the second apron, right? It's just difficult to do trades nowadays because your team can easily go into a very bad financial luxury tax depending on who you trade for. This is what the NBA makes their bread and butter. Trades. We like trades. Drama. Who can go? The NBA ain't nothing but a sell you on a dream. Sell your team on a dream. In 3 years, when LeBron's a free agent, when Carmelo's a free agent, we're going to get the new big three. This is what the NBA is. This is what they've sold for 15 years. I don't know why they acting like they forgot their business model. Let me know your thoughts. Jimmy Butler wants to be traded. Miami says no, boy. All right.